the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody, for coming today. This is Tuesday, April 30th, 2019. You are at the Mitchell County Supervisors Board meeting. We have in front of us an agenda. Do we have any motions?
Also move to accept the agenda.
Second.
Barb has made a motion, Stan has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approve the minutes of April 23rd. Hopefully we've all read through. If we've got any comments, or if not,
Also move to accept the minutes too.
Second.
Barb has made a motion, Stanley has seconded. Roll call, Barb,
Aye.
Stanley,
Aye.
Smolik, aye. County Attorney, general discussion. We'll let Mark have the floor.
I'm leaving on vacation on Wednesday, so I will miss the next two meetings. So if you have anything, get it to me before then. Or I'll be checking my email. Hopefully I've got email access. Other than that, I don't have any.
In mortal words, the Harley Wash, it's none of my business, but I want to know where you go.
Where you going? Croatia.
Croatia.
Oh, that should be
Okay.
cool.
Where's Croatia?
It's east of Italy.
It used to be part of Yugoslavia, didn't it?
I think it was Armenia.
Okay, there.
That's supposed to be.
Hey, Mark, is that gonna be on a 737?
That's probably the safest plane in the world right now. That's all I have.
Okay, well, good luck on your vacation, and thank you, Mark.
I do want you to stick around for item 5 if you would.
I was planning around sticking around for 4 to.
Probably.
Yep.
Well, item 5, I mean, I want to.
Yep, I'll be here. Yep.
Okay, well, let's move on to item 4. Approve resolution concerning application for grants from Mitchell County. Stanley, I'll let you go from here, if you'd like to.
Basically, I feel the resolution, I mean, I would make a couple changes, but they don't have to be, so, I mean, as long as we have May in there on item 2, I'm fine with that. Like I say, I would have dropped item 2, but, I feel as long as, our auditor wants something in writing, this should suffice, and we should pass it.
I'm okay with the wording, other than number 10, spell minutes. Still missing that stinking I.
I'll make that correction. My spell checker, I don't know what's wrong with it.
Oh, and I swear they've gotten worse.
'Cause-
They're like adding whole different words, like 2 words where I had 1, and they change it to something that isn't remotely the same.
Because I know I ran spell check before, because I think I had 2 P's in public or purple.
Yeah.
And you said, run your spell check, so I did. I'll make that correction and bring it back, bring that page back over.
So move to approve.
Stanley's made a motion. Barb has seconded. Roll call, Stanley,
Aye.
Barbara,
Aye.
Smolik, aye. So this resolution has passed. Do we have a number for it, Lowell?
1033-19.
1033-19. Okay. I do not see our person here for number 5. So shall we go to Sheriff's Department update next?
Was the lady from, Lowell, was the lady coming then?
Mhm.
Yep, so she's just running a little bit late, is that?
So thank you, Mark, and good luck.
I know Greg wants to talk to me about some stuff, so I'll hang around for a while just in case you
non-interactive point, because I don't have a whole lot other than holding three. We'll have a retiree in June. We'll get that position filled. That's on the dispatch side of things. We will start that process, obviously, until she's off the payroll of the county, but Holly Morris is going to retire after 45 years of service, so she's ready to retire. There's a contract in front of all of you for your review. That is an example of the law enforcement contracts that we have for the communities in the county. Probably have not seen one. I'm not asking for any changes. I think they're pretty solid contracts, but more so just for your guys'.
I appreciate it, because I've never seen one, so, for my education.
Yeah, so, other than that, unless folks here have complaints or compliments, I'm done.
I guess I have nothing
All right.
new for Greg.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. We will slide down to county engineer update. You've got the hot seat. I hope the seat ain't as hot as our phone's been. Bruce, Barb and I have had some active phone calls.
We've
We
all
will
had
have a
active phone
visit
calls.
too.
There is nothing we can do right now except for pray for dry weather. We're making it worse by trying to fix stuff. That's all I can say. It's frustrating.
I indicated that to this person, but that person lives on a dead-end road, and I do understand her situation.
Oh, sure. I mean, we're out trying to fix what we can. It's just, this is ridiculous.
And I report them to you, but
Yep.
every single person I say, they're doing what they can.
Yeah,
We didn't need the wet weather over the weekend.
that's exactly what I told her, that Mother Nature has to straighten things out, but she does live on a dead-end road. She's got some issues there where,
Yep.
so.
So I guess maybe the big hot topic right now, other than the gravel roads, is G38 intended to be closed by the end of the day today. They're working on detour signage now. I've gone through the profile, so the profile will be approved here. And I don't know, I think they'll probably spend, depending on the weather, obviously, they'll be cutting out the removals and getting that stuff ready this week. I don't know that they brought all the plant equipment yet in, but as far as when they get all that set up and the weather, I guess. Right now, it'll be closed by the end of the day today, and the detour will be active on T38, so with that. And I don't, go ahead.
Basically, is the whole road, I mean, I realize technically the whole road is closed.
Mhm.
But I mean, is it like, we're gonna start pouring out by the bridge and,
Yeah, they'll be,
I mean, do you keep the rest of, I mean,
They'll-
it's not gonna be fenced, so,
it'll be, for the people that live on the road, they'll still be able to get through there, but there'll be, limited traffic availability. You know, they'll have to, when they're doing removals, they'll try to maybe ramp up a little gravel on their excavated sections, but people that live there are gonna have to be really cognizant of what's happening out there to get back and forth to their houses until it's paved. But the signs go up for the major through traffic that
yeah.
doesn't need to
but,
be
I
on
mean, I
there.
guess what I was asking, like, south of the bridge, I mean, they can still travel south out of,
They should be able to,
Okay.
yeah, they'll be able to get to, and, you know, Golf Course Road will be accessible, things like that. But it's just gonna be,
is that
Tough
some of
to
the
navigate.
questions that I
Yep.
was asking?
it'll be no different than any of our other overlay projects where the people that live on the road have access to their houses and up until that paver's in front of their driveway, and they gotta wait a couple days, or a day or whatever that is, whatever our, time for opening is on that pavement, but, at any rate, that's the schedule. I brought Austin, he had a couple of things he wanted to bring to you, so it's just, and it's more under the roadway thing than it really is, we'll call it roadside maintenance or whatever. So I'll let Austin give you a really quick, summary and let you know what's happening with him real quick.
Yep, so pretty much I've been kind of shopping around trying to find a new spray system. I mean, we just kind of talked about it. Could be money there, but what I got now is like a 150-gallon tank, the spray gun. This new system, it's gonna be 300-gallon tank. It's space saver tanks is gonna take up half the bed of my truck, so I can still put my chainsaw and all that good stuff in there. It's not gonna take up a lot of room. It's gonna have a spray gun with 400 foot of hose coming off of the electric reel. And it will have, let's see, we'll have a boom system coming off the back that, will be able, it's got two different nozzles on it, they're both, just both of them. The one nozzle closest will get you like out to 6 foot away from the truck. And the other nozzle will shoot you out even further, so that way, you get a bad patch of this or whatever, it goes through, you can just turn on the boom system, spray it. You don't have to handgun or anything, a lot quicker that way. And, then, with the gun, you can reach out from your stuff in the back of the ditch. And, come with a Honda motor and pump. Total will be right on $8,000 is what it's gonna come out to be. But I've been shopping around, for the system, it's probably the cheapest, and it's gonna be exactly what I want to kind of upgrade what I got now, so.
Northern Hydraulic.
No, it's actually from Gregson Clark Spray Equipment. It's actually out of New York, but 2-year warranty on everything except for the pump, or the motor, excuse me. So, motor and pump.
You'll
everything else
never
is
have
2-year
any
warranty.
problems with that Honda engine. That
Yeah.
thing will run forever.
Yep, so yeah, like, something happens to the tank or anything, boom, within the 2 years, it's covered, so.
Now, when your boom's running, you'll be able to drive this by yourself then?
Yeah, but then only, like, I can get the stuff close by myself with that boom, but if I try to get out and get stuff further
Right.
back, I'll have to manually get out, probably grab the gun and spray or whatever, but.
Yeah.
But I've noticed a lot of times, it seems like a lot of the bad issues right off the road, so having that boom, just to get that first 10, 15 feet is gonna help me a lot. Save a lot of time, just broadcast over it and keep going, so I have to sit there and try to hose everything down, so.
You have a lot of area to cover, so that would be nice. It
Yeah,
saves you
got a
time.
whole county, so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna, it should, I guess we'll see, it should help quite a bit, so. Yeah, it's exactly what I need, so.
So is there money in the budget, or do?
Yeah, I think,
We talked about it a little bit, and for the $8,000 and what my equipment budget is, I didn't know whether we should try to force it out of the weed commissioner budget or whatever, but it's gonna function in both capacities, so the $8,000 is kind of minimal in what budget we have right now for the equipment that we're planning. There's a little bit of not knowing what other equipment we plan on purchasing is gonna cost us, so.
So you're saying you'll take care of it?
Yep, I'm
Okay.
saying we'll take care of it in secondary roads.
I assume that's what you were.
Yeah, that's why I brought him in, just so that you guys were aware of it, so that, I think it'll make him a little bit more efficient. Things can, he'll be able to move down the road faster, and there will be those occasions we can still, if
Well,
there's,
with our old setup, spraying thistles and stuff,
It's slow.
It was a joke.
it's
Yeah.
slow and it's just not efficient.
And you also have twice the capacity, so less time back and
yeah,
forth.
if I'm up by McIntyre and have to come back and grab chemical, I mean, that's an hour round trip pretty much. That's a lot of wasted time, so having an extra, or twice as much, that's one less trip, so.
You might wanna learn how to use the Stacyville Fire Department's water dump.
Oh, yeah, I should, who could I contact and learn about?
I'll get you the contact.
Chris Adams,
That'd be handy.
he on the,
I don't know that he is. I can get, there's a city guy there, we can,
Jay.
Jay Adams is the fire
Jay.
department.
Jay.
Yeah.
Well, and, again, this summer, keep in mind the old county farm.
Yeah,
That,
well, last year I talked to conservation, I seen the thistle out there. I asked them if they could go out there if they're battling and mow them down, but I guess I don't know if they ever did go out there and mow them or not, but I told them about it and asked if they would do it.
Well, one neighbor, it's perennial, one neighbor continues to complain that things are not up to
And-
par, and I don't know that things ever would be up to par.
Well, the worst thing is back in there, it's wet. I mean, to get stuff back there and take care of it's kind of a pain, but.
I mean, maybe to that extent, do we have any type of spray capacity on a four-wheeler? I
The
mean,
conservation does, I think they got a UTV that they can put an extra spray boom on. stuff like that. I think, I'll have to check, but I'm pretty sure, they got a mule through the roadside grant a few years back that they said I could use whatever too.
I mean, you may have to use their,
Yep,
because like you say, they seem to be a little lax on that.
yep.
Well, the unfortunate thing about the thistles out at the conservation ground out there is that our state bird eats thistle seed, so there's a difference of opinion on thistles there. But anyways, thank you.
Yep.
So the only other thing I have, and I know that, I talked to Lowell a little bit, this urban renewal infrastructure project worksheet that needed to be filled out. It's not done because I had a couple questions. And considering where we're at now with granular roads and everything else, we've got our rock run ready to go out to quote. We've got about, I think it was 67,000 tons of rock, if I'm not mistaken. And running those numbers, it puts us at about, we don't know what the costs are gonna be, but we're looking at $750,000 with that tonnage. I don't know what we're gonna have finishing out this year with rock, because of the way the roads are now. But I wondered if it would also be possible to maybe, depending on how the money works and everything else, to, we called it rock resurfacing. But I wonder if it wouldn't be a good idea to maybe open it up a little bit further to granular resurfacing, or maybe even call some of it resurfacing and gravel bed stabilization, where we could maybe see if we can tile some of these worst spots and use some of that TIF money to tile. Or I've got some bridge decks that are gonna be patched, maybe we can kind of do an infrastructure thing, or is that kind of out of the question?
I think that would be, I mean, that's really was not part of the,
That's, just wanted to make sure that before we did this, whether I could add to it or not.
but, I mean, even like right now, we spend a lot of money on rock
Oh, yeah.
for spotting.
Oh, I know.
I mean, that's not part of the rock run.
Right.
And so I would just put. for the
Okay,
$1 million,
that's fine, I just
that's all
wanted to,
would-
I wanted to bring it up just in
Yeah, no,
case
I
there was
would-
some options there to ease the
No, I
budget a
would-
little bit
I
on
would
some of these
call
other
it.
things. So, okay,
Yes.
no, that's not a problem.
I guess if we don't hear any comments from Mark Walk, I guess it sounds good. Oh,
It was this urban renewal infrastructure worksheet that they need for, I don't know.
Just stick with $1 million.
Stick with the
for
rock.
and that's-
Yeah,
And
stick
it
with the
should-
rock.
It should catch what he has to do,
Well-
use this money with.
We'll definitely use that much rock in a year. It's just that I didn't know if we could open it up a little bit to a more broader spectrum of other infrastructure repairs, but we'll get it.
So that we'd have to change the,
And that's right, that's why I'm asking, so, no, that's fine. Other than that, I don't have much else to tell you today, other than pray for warm, dry weather.
Yes, there's a lot of them. I know one farmer that's got 500 acres of beans in and 500 acres of corn in, so he's got his fingers crossed.
Everybody wants to haul manure and livestock.
Yes. Well, thank you, Rich.
thank you.
We have next on the agenda for now, approved recorder's quarterly report of fees. Pat has it here. Anyways, Stanley has made a motion.
I'll second that.
Barb has made a motion. Roll call, Stanley,
Aye.
Barb,
Aye.
Smollett, aye. That has been approved.
If number 5 shows up, just give me a call and I'll come back over.
Alrighty. Items of note. Meetings attended. Barb, I will let you start if you like.
Okay. It turned out, thought I was supposed to go to a county social service quadrant meeting, but apparently our director didn't get to us in time that technically only one person from each region has to go, and so at our next meeting we'll decide who's actually going, so I did not have to attend. I met with Joyce Relo and other staff at Old Central Coffee concerning 2 grants that I had come across that could be used. I thought for the old seminary would be absolutely perfect. One was with Google and was worth like $175,000, and the other, just for telling their story, could lead to free publicity in Midwest Living magazine and several other places, and that's like $150,000, and they were tickled and are gonna go after them full force. So I hope that that comes across okay. I mean, I figured what better story is there of moving a building that there were bets on whether it would make it across town, you know, it might crumble. And then yesterday I took, I had gotten picked up when I was at that rural development summit, some marketing ideas that I took over to the Chamber of Commerce in case you wanted to make use out of them. And then I went out to Arctic to see if the rumor was accurate that that they are having trouble too, like all the other manufacturers getting employees, and most definitely they could actually, they started out with like 20 and they're up to like 60, and they could expand, but they cannot find the people. And let's see, I had not been through the daycare, and so I got a very nice tour of that, but a little concerned because their infant room is already going to be filled by fall. So that's kind of crazy, that's 24 infants.
This is the Osage one.
Yes, the Osage one, yeah. So, and that's all I got.
Okay, Stanley?
Well, I had none, but back to Arctic. Are they also trying to work with Jennifer and Andrea?
I am sending a message to Jennifer to ask her, because I didn't actually get to talk to Troy Machen, the manager. He was out right then, and I only talked to the office help inside, so I don't have that kind of detail.
I sat on a conversation this last weekend, and actually Lindsay Falk was the individual, and Lindsay was very pleased with how things are working with that program, that they are being screened properly
Yeah,
and so on.
he's totally pleased with it.
The big problem is that they've run out of places to house them, and so,
I'm well aware of that.
and, no, I think we have an opportunity here if we can, like you say, but there's a lot of balls to be juggled at the same time. Yeah.
And just in case people, if you hear the argument on the housing, that we already have plenty of housing, I have been online and looked at what our realtors have to offer, and the kind of houses that young people, when they come into town now, they're not like our generation where we did it all ourselves and renovated it from scratch, and they want it completely done. They're both working outside of the home, they don't have time to renovate themselves, so they want something completely done. And if you look online, most of the houses are 2-story that would cost a mint to heat and completely need renovation. I mean, from electricity to plumbing, rugs, everything. And the few that they do that would be appropriate for these young families, they sell before they even get on site, you know. So that argument doesn't cut it with me. Just my 2 cents.
My turn?
You're the chair.
Okay, I don't have any comment on what you're commenting on. And if you didn't have any meetings,
No.
you know what, Barb, sorry, I didn't have any meetings either.
It is, actually mine has slowed down finally a little bit, because I was telling him I had a meeting every single day for 3 months.
Yeah.
I didn't have any
It's
meetings,
like,
but
are you kidding me?
I didn't have any meetings, but I was overly busy putting in some 15-hour days on either fertilizer or bus driving or both.
Okay, we have public comments. Do we have any public comments today? Rita? Okay. And of Mobile Mama, apparently she didn't make it, so I don't know, do we wait a little bit? Just-
Give her till 9.
And, we'll just kinda have a little short recess here, and if nothing happens by 9 o'clock, we'll pull the plug, but thank you, everyone.
And then our parent body. So Mobile Mama came in and did our fall parent meeting in the fall, talked in front of the whole student body and all the parents that came for back to school night. They've done the same here in Osage for our middle school and high school kids, specifically our freshman orientation we came to. And so we've been looking at their product and what they're producing. And like I said, in Riceville, they met with their kindergarten, 3rd, 6th, 8th. Didn't quite get to all of our 11th graders yet, but we did 7 sessions. Now you know what the winter was like. It's pretty horrible. So as far as trying to get that regularity in, that became a challenge. And then even here in Osage, we signed up for the exact same product, but here it was harder and we had to do things different. So they got to do small school, small class sizes, lots of small groups. Over here in Osage, we did everything the big way. She did the whole 6th grade, the whole 8th grade. And again, that's 75 kids in a shot versus 15 or 20.
Is that the oldest you do is?
No, they do 11th graders as well. It's just trying to schedule it all in and try to figure that out. You want to catch kids younger, just like you want to.
I didn't realize they were doing so much over here. I was more concerned because I thought they were just in another county, and I'm like, why are we paying for this? It's not even.
No, they're doing a lot with us. In fact, we're one of the schools that are helping pilot it for you. We're probably one of the most active ones, because part of it is, from my opinion, is that we're doing a lot with computer science. If you didn't know that, Osage is really the mecca right now of North Iowa's computer science programming in North Iowa. We have a pathway K through 12, where kids can code from kindergarten all the way through. We have a mandatory elective class in middle school that they have to take, and then in high school, they all have to, we're one of the few schools around that require a computer science class. If we don't expose them to this, they're not gonna know what it's about, okay? Now, we're not gonna produce a whole bunch of coders, but coding is all about problem solving. It's about looking at solving things, being analytical, the collaboration.
In almost anything.
Absolutely.
In some way.
Correct. The computers are not going away, the technology skills are not going away. So like I said, believe in what Christy's doing. She's really working on tweaking it. They've been presenting across the United States. They met with the legislative body last weekend to really work on some policy and procedures of how to help do this. They're actually presenting in Ireland next fall. So this.
Actually, in June, we'll be in
Yeah,
Ireland.
My bad. So this is something that, although local and started in another county, we are utilizing in our schools. We pay them a small fee for their service, but again, they're a startup company that's trying to make this work. Like I said, I would compare it kind of to the DARE program, but with the computer safety, the internet safety, how to watch your online profile, all those things. So like I said, for us, it's been good. We have to fill this niche for our kids, and our parents have to take an active approach. So if we can do more things to get our parents, the internet is a very awesome tool when used appropriately. You know, and it's important to us in Mitchell County, because again, people can have startup businesses, they can do anything from right here, if they know how to utilize it correctly. So that's where the school part comes in. Yes, we are utilizing it, even though they're not from here. We're one of your first schools that have jumped on board and done a lot of that. Positive, especially Riceville, very positive feedback because of the way it was done the way it was intended over the 7-week process. Here, with the larger groups and stuff, it's been harder to figure out. You know, 75 8th graders over a lot of kids to try to keep their attention at one time. But again, if we schedule this, plan it, we're talking about doing it in the fall, we're wanting to do it, if St. Ansgar is interested, I think they would enjoy this as well. And not only enjoy it, but benefit from it. Even if we save 1 or 2 kids off of this stuff, and I'm gonna tell you, you don't understand what we're dealing with in the schools every single day. When we are able to catch some of the chats or some of the different things that are going on, we have active cases right now where there are things that are just not good.
It's horrifying.
It really is.
And I think many parents would be shocked.
They usually are when they come in and see it, so.
Is there any kind of training yet for parents? Like, when I got my new phone, it was my kid that had to set it up, but didn't know how to use it, so I don't even know what he's put on there. Is there something for parents that you guys do?
Yes, we do community events for adults sponsored by us. And so what we do is we go in and show you how to set up your phone and set up the restrictions so the kids can't bypass you and install what they want, because a lot of parents will, we tell them, is to interlock the accounts. So if you give your kid a phone, make sure you're using your email and you're using your passwords. So then what we do is show you how to set up the restrictions so the kids can't get in there and change the passwords, and all of a sudden they're downloading things like the Apple Family Sharing, the Google Family Link. We show you how to set all that up.
Do you charge for that?
I'm sorry,
Do you charge for that?
for the community events, no, we sponsor that for free.
Well, which is great, but I would suggest that you put that out at least a donation can.
We try, and some parents are very open to giving us a donation. Other parents are like, great information, thank you, and now we can lock my kids from Snapchat.
Or it's hard to get people there, period. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
hard part.
that's the hard
Is just
part.
get parents to slow down and take the time. This is very important because, again, a lot of kids will say, that's my phone, you can't take it away. And I always ask my kid, whose phone is it? Are you paying for it? It's not your phone. You can't take it away. You can't put restrictions on it. And until the kid is paying for it, it's not your phone. It's the parents. The parents are the ones that are going to have the legal responsibility when some of these things come back at them.
That's something they should keep in mind.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we'll let Christie have the floor then.
All right, so, Barb did a lot of my talking, so this should go a lot faster.
I will come work for you. That's what I want.
Yeah, there you go. All right. How are you guys this morning? All right, so as Barb probably explained, my name's Christy Tesla. I'm the founder of Mobile Mama. We're a nonprofit organization based in Cusco, Iowa. And what we did is originally 6 of us moms came together and started talking about online safety with our kids. Our kids' age range from kindergarten all the way through college. So we did some research, we started looking at things, and what we found was alarming. So we decided that we better start educating some of the parents that we know, and it's escalated from there. As Barb was explaining, I've been throughout the United States this last year. I've been in California, I've been in Washington, D.C. on these very topics of cyberbullying, sexting, human trafficking, just the social media online addiction that these kids are having. Currently in June, I will be traveling to Dublin, Ireland as an international anti-bullying forum. With that, I'm hoping to bring back the education of what I learned from the other countries of what they're doing. Last Tuesday, I was in Des Moines meeting with Jane Bloomingdale and Michael Bergen and Cecil Dobacek in regards to implementing policies and procedures for the school with restricting cell phone use in the classrooms. So classrooms would be deemed a red zone where the cell phone would not be allowed at all. Green zones would be like a cafeteria, school parking lot, hallways when school classes are not in session. And a yellow zone would be like a media center, library, a home base room. And so depending on what the teacher's permission is, that's how we deem the zones. West Union, I've been talking to them, they're thinking of adopting this policy because, again, as Barb explained, it is out of control in every school. What we're trying to do is put some restrictions back. We've also talked about putting in 2 different Wi-Fi networks in the schools and having their IT departments split off one so the teachers and staff can have an unlimited, unrestricted use of the internet where the kids would be restricted with their devices so they couldn't necessarily get into the social media aspect during the day. Then also with their Wi-Fi on their phone, it would limit their Snapchat, their Instagram, their Twitter. So then that conversation comes back to mom and dad, why are you going through 1.5 GB of data a day at school when you should be learning? So that kind of puts some responsibility back on parents. It takes a little bit of responsibility off the schools because as Barb was explaining, schools are maxed out at what they're doing right now. So what we're trying to do is come in, educate the adults, educate the staff, educate the students, and get everybody on the same page. Kids now have this attitude or this feeling of, I'm entitled. You owe me. And the only way I'm going to do something for you is if it benefits me. So what we've tried to do with our very curriculum that we set up is breathe, explain, affirm, action, and report. We've tried to take some of that away from the kids and say, there's other responsibilities, there are other liabilities, there are other restrictions that we all have to work within. And so by starting with a younger age and teaching the kids throughout the years, they're going to retain that. Some of the school districts that we have worked with, I know West Union, also we've worked with them. We've had a couple of students where they've reported things. They've seen things after we've worked with them. And so Riceville, Osage, we've had a couple of incidents where the kids have turned around and became upstanders. They weren't the bystanders anymore, and they called it. And so that was a great feeling for us that we knew our program was working and what we were preaching, the kids were retaining. So that's a huge benefit. So why I'm here today is again, I'm asking for a budget request to keep going with our program here in Osage, keep it going in Riceville. The public really, when you think of at-risk youth, at-risk adults, it's not the low class anymore. It's us right here in Northeast Iowa. And why do I say at-risk? Because what the kids are seeing online may be coming from California, New York, Florida, Texas. And they're thinking that they can say anything they want because they come from a smaller school. They come from a smaller community where if I say something to you, it's not offensive. But they move to California in a few years after graduation and they say that same thing. They may not live to see tomorrow because they may have offended somebody and not even realize they did it. So we're trying to bring all this online safety, the proper way to do things, the proper way to handle things online. We're trying to bring that to a smaller community to give that education so when they do move to a bigger city, they have that opportunity to excel and not end up shot or beat up because they offended someone online or in person. Any questions?
To be honest, when I heard you were coming, I thought, well, we already gave you $7,500 to start out with. I did not realize you were doing that much already here.
Right.
How much does Howard County contribute? Do they contribute anything?
They do. They gave us $5,000 to continue over in Howard County and the other way towards Winneshiek County, things like that. But as you guys can see, the materials that we're using, just the time that we're putting into this is a huge expense. And we try to keep it affordable for parents and students alike. And so by community support, we can continue to build our program. And that's really what we're trying to do. And like I said, we were in Des Moines last week, trying to push these policies and procedures to start limit these kids. If you have kids, grandkids, you know that the technology use that they have daily, they're exceeding 8 hours a day on their devices. And that's just getting to be out of control for that amount of time, for their age. So we're trying to show that we can set restrictions and limitations and still make it educational and still make it fun to use the internet. Because like Barb said, the internet's a great place. If we didn't have technology, I would actually be out of a job because I own a repair shop in Cresco. And so, but when I see that stuff coming through my repair shop, some of the things that I've been seeing is quite alarming. I've seen kids getting beat up in classrooms. I've seen kids recording things in the lunchroom. I've seen kids recording things in bathrooms. And it's all on school time. So that's why when I sat down and developed all of these policies, procedures, these curriculums, it's teaching kids limits and restrictions. We have to work with limits and restrictions as adults. These kids need to start learning to work with limitations and restrictions and things like that. So that's why we're building.
And I think we can make this happen in schools pretty easy. It fits in, it's good, but this community component is really important. Because is it really the kids that it's all their fault? Who's allowing the kids to do some of this? Who are the ones that really, and to me, it's our adults. I look at how adults are treating each other online a lot of days, and it's not real pretty out there, folks.
What do you tell the parents in the home? Are you telling them things like maybe that the kids shouldn't be allowed to use it unless they're in the same room as the whole family?
Depending on their age group, depending on the age group of the kids, we tell the kids, like if they're in early elementary, we may tell them, give them an hour of screen time, but sit with them, see what they're doing, show them how to use this correctly, have them show you have the kids show them what they're doing, because that might educate the parents too to find out what they're doing. The older kids, if they have devices from school, we tell them, keep them in a centrally located spot. For example, I have 2 teenage boys at home. The rule is at 9 o'clock, everything is shut down, and it's all set on our cupboard. So the phones, the MacBooks are all plugged in one spot. They're not allowed to have them in their bedrooms. We don't tell you how to do it, we give you suggestions. So as the kids get older, we give a suggestion. They're 16 years old, maybe have them not allowed to have them in their room. Well, I let them use them as an alarm clock. My kids try to tell me that, Mom, we use them as alarm clocks. So we went to Walmart, I took them down the aisle with all the different alarm clocks, and my 15 and 17-year-old looked at me and goes, what are those? I said, those are alarm clocks, and this is what you're gonna use. And by God, they use them. And so we give parents examples such as that. The kids will tell me, well, the only way my friends will talk to me is if I have Snapchat, because my boys are not allowed to have Snapchat. I said, then you really need to rethink some of your friend group, because if the only way they can talk to you is through a device, then you need to find some friends that still know how to have a face-to-face conversation. And so we just make parents aware of what these kids are doing and how they're treating each other. So then we have just a little listing on our PowerPoint of the different things that we do as a suggestion. Locate them in a central place, shut down the internet at 9 o'clock, allow them so many gigs of data per month. I use a 3D watchdog that allows my kids only 2 gigs a month of data, which I don't tell them, we have like unlimited data, but they don't know that because they don't pay the bill. So I allow them 2 gigs a month, and then when their 2 gigs are up, their phone shuts down. They don't have any more mobile data. And so I know exactly what they're doing, and those are things that we just give as a suggestion. Am I saying I'm the perfect parent? Absolutely not. Will my kids tell you that I'm the meanest mom ever? Absolutely. But I also have that restriction because then they know that it's okay, it's time to put down the advice. I don't need to do that. I need to go outside and practice basketball, or I need to go find a job, or things like that. So that's how we talk to parents, depending on the age group that we're dealing with.
Are the school systems contributing also?
How much
Well,
does the school give in support of this?
So for she's given us really good deals. It's $1,500 for all of our sessions. That's a cut rate deal, and there's no way she's making a dime on that when you come 7 times and you spend the whole day at the school for all those different age groups. In Osage, it was the same price. First time around, we did our parent meeting. So again, there's been good service out of it because again, we don't have anybody else that can provide this for us.
Yes.
Okay, everything you've said, I totally support, and I just want to say that cell phones are abused in the workplace. I work in IT. But my question is, what is your budget? I mean, how is this run by volunteers or?
it's run mostly by me.
Okay.
I do a lot of the work. I'm the founder. I dreamt up this one night, so I've spent a lot of sleepless nights putting it together. So it's mostly ran by me, and then I have one other trainer that goes, if I can't make it, so we kind of do a conquer and divide. So,
Yeah, I'm very impressed.
thank you.
Any comments? Barb?
I don't know, like I said, until I had heard how much work she was doing here, I really didn't even want to give it to more. But-
Well,
And then I said, well, maybe
here's my-
1,000.
Here's my thought is and it does sound wonderful and it does benefit, but Christie brought up what she's training these kids is on activities that are happening at school. And the school system may want to provide her more money.
If I had more money, we would. I mean, we don't have, our budgets didn't go up that much either. I mean, our tax rates went down for us, and, I mean, yeah, we can definitely, we will sign another contract with them, absolutely. We feel that strongly about this.
And again, I think it's a wonderful thing, but again, using taxpayer dollars, it's something to think about. Stanley, comment. I know you got one. Let's hear it.
Again, I've been reading this book to them by Ben Sass. He's a senator now from Nebraska. And in about chapter 4 of that, he talks about the same thing, the use of cell phones, why we are losing communities, why we used to basically do a lot of socializing. We don't anymore. I mean, it's all, and he is very concerned. And again, I always feel that if we aren't participating in some of these things, we will participate because we will have people next door to us in the Crowbar Hotel. And so, we got the money. I would like to see it continue for at least one more year, and we'll see what kind of progress we're making.
So you're for the 5,000 and you are.
It's 7,500.
No,
She asked-
it's
it's
5,000.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
I'm sorry.
5,000.
It says 5,000.
Yeah, I would definitely go with the 5,000 because again, I think
What do you
it's,
say?
I'm chair, it's your question. You're the next person.
Well, what I was gonna say, if you're totally against it, that I would like to see at least a compromise.
I would go with 2,500. My thinking is, the school should support it.
Yeah, we can support her better. Christy, do we support you?
Yes,
We're your best
absolutely.
supporter out there.
Yes, they are our biggest talking piece.
We're
She is-
biggest on our social media, drumming them, I'd say more business because they're seeing what we're doing and people respect what we do here.
Right.
So,
And so yes, Riceville and Osage have been behind us 110%. We've been down to Keystone, working with them to try to develop our curriculum even better, to offer even a better package next year. We laid this all out, and in my head, when I laid it all out on paper, it worked out perfectly. In a perfect world, it went perfect, and the kids were perfect, and they never moved. Then I put it into place, and I walked out the first day, and I wanted to cry. And so now we've tweaked it, and we'll probably tweak it again, and we're gonna continue to tweak it. And as we grow, and as the environments change, we have to tweak it, because I don't wanna be a stagnant organization. And that's why I'm here requesting the funds that is available, because as you guys know, technology changes by the minute. It's not by the day, it's not by the year anymore, it's by the minute. So for us to keep up with the trends of what these kids are doing, we have to be able to stay on top of it. And so without the community support and the different things like that, we can't keep going. And so that's why we ask for what we are doing, simply because of the fact that if we can continue to build and we can continue to grow, we're gonna make this a safer, better community for you guys and your kids and grandkids and the generations to come. You don't want these small towns to fail, like you said, to end up in the Crowbar Hotel because the kids did something that was inappropriate. And the parents didn't know how to handle it because they weren't educated. I tell parents all the time, can you teach your kids quantum physics? And most parents are like, what's quantum physics? Exactly. So when we hand them these devices, these parents are like handing a quantum physics books to these kids, and they're like, yeah, we'll figure it out, Mom. We got it. But the parents are scared to have that conversation because they don't know how to educate. They don't know what they're doing. So how do you properly educate your kid if you don't know? That's where we step in with the teachers, the staff, administration, because a lot of teachers and staff, they're parents of the kids that are in the school district. So by supporting us, we're supporting them to give the better support to their kids. I tell people all the time, a better educated adult is gonna make a safer, smarter child at the end of the day. So that's, again, why we're here asking and participating with the community. And yes, Osage has been a huge piece for us. We did, just last week, we did 2 sessions. We did all the 6th grade, all the 8th grade, and all the 11th grade. I think the kids were very receptive. This time of year, you know, like we said, the weather does not play into the part of helping us at all, but we did what we could, and the kids were receptive, and some of the kids, believe it or not, didn't know some of the terminologies, just as digital citizenship, just as digital footprint, because we've kind of caught them later in life, and they're already kind of gotten that opinion or their rules of what they feel like they're doing, so we had to change their mindset of saying, hey, you're looking at college applications, you're looking at jobs in the community. They're also looking at you on social media. They're finding you online. So the teachers that were sitting in there, some of them were like, really, they can do that? Because they have, as you know, working in IT, they can now draw up the spam accounts on Instagram. So if you're not familiar with the spam account, what that is kids are setting up 2 accounts online. So you get to see the one that mom, dad get to see, grand get to see, sporting events. The spam account is where all the good stuff goes, where all the stuff that's going on in schools that nobody wants to know about. That's where they're putting that stuff. IT people are now starting to dig a little bit further, and they're finding on these background checks of these kids doing things like the juuling, the vaping, the drinking, the driving, the drugs, and that's affecting their outcome of if they're gonna get a job or a scholarship. So that's where we're trying to educate the parents and teachers and staff of what's going on, because as Barb said again, their teachers are max, so they're not always looking for that, but if we can make the teachers and staff aware of what's going on, they're gonna be a little more vigilant of, hey, maybe we should just pop into the bathroom real quick, like, and just see what the kids are doing, or why do you have your phone out in the hallway, or why is your phone pointed this way and you're looking this way, kind of thing. So those are some things that we just bring up to the adults of, pay attention to it.
Well, there's no doubt about it, you have support here, it's just how do we want to support, so we have to discuss that
Do
here.
you think we could get you up at least to 3,500, Steve? I just believe this is a problem that is just gonna become more and more challenging, and I'm thrilled to see that you at least have a good start here on it.
Thank you.
Because obviously we were
You happy with 35, Stanley?
no. No, I mean, again, I think we're hitting on something that needs to be addressed, and there's no sense going halfway. I mean, I'm sorry at that. We definitely, we have it in the budget, we can do it, or not have it in
will be next year's budget, correct? After July 1.
Yeah, and basically we have a projected $750,000 carryover, which in reality is gonna be closer to $1 million because a lot of the departments don't spend everything that they had budgeted for. We always have some extra. We'll have almost $1 million. I mean, the extra 2,500 to me, or 1,500, whatever. No, let's put it where it can do some good. That's my.
I'm leaving it in your hands.
I want us to all be working together on this. It's such a huge, important thing.
I'm not gonna jump on top of the table and
Yeah.
scream.
Yeah, like I said, I totally wanted to give 1,000, but I didn't realize you were doing all this already. This is wonderful. And this is just something that's just gonna keep growing, and it probably already is out of control even.
You can always think about it a week. Put it on next week.
No, let's get it done. What's that? We'll be asked for more things by then, and that's the problem. Yes, we have some surplus, but we get asked for stuff every week.
I understand. I mean, like I said, I'm here looking for the community support to continue to grow this. And I hope that Barb she realizes, and some of the other teachers and staff realize that we're making a huge impact with these kids. And the more that the kids are going home and talking about it, because every week we send home gummy bears and we send home a family sheet. And give them ideas of doing things that are device-free, doing things as a family again. One of the rules that we have at our house is if we go out to eat, every Sunday we try to go out for a meal, my four, and the first one that pulls out of their phone, out of their pocket, has to pay for the meal. My kids have now gone broke feeding my husband and I.
That's awesome.
So I ordered a $22 steak one night.
I'm making notes to tell my kids to tell their grandchildren.
Yep, that's what we do. We have a device-free meal out at a restaurant. The first one of us that pulls out the phone, we have to pay for the meal. So my youngest son, who always seems to be on his phone, had to pull it out. He was looking at it underneath the table. He paid. I ordered a $22 steak, and he goes, "Really, Mom?" I said, "Guess you shouldn't have pulled out the device." Now he leaves it at home, so it's not tempting. And now he orders the $22 steak.
Yes.
I do have a public, I mean, this is my public comment. This is a program that is open to the public. It's offered in public schools, and the sessions are public, and that's why I feel it's not about a special interest type of request. It's about public funding.
It's just so important. I mean, I see it with my grandkids firsthand. Some of the stuff that they're getting into, and I'm
And to
horrified.
add on to the conversation, if you look into I was forced to get a new cell phone, and just to watch the marketing that goes on within the cell phone store, because adults have no clue if they need this, or if they can purchase it cheaper or something. I mean, adults are very uneducated, me included, about their cell phones, and that's what I'm saying. You would even be smarter when you went in, do I really need to pay $50 for the screen projector, or is it something that I could purchase elsewhere, or $40 for this?
Oh, yeah, I just went through that.
Exactly.
They wanted $80. I
Exactly,
got it
that's
for
what I'm saying.
$10 at Amazon.
Because we are uneducated. And that's what I'm saying. This is a public-facing program. It's open to the public.
And we can work with Chrissy to have this big community meeting or more of the Q&As with our families and things like that. So that's not an issue for us. I mean, we want to educate the moms and dads. And we want to educate them when they're in elementary school. Because they're getting their smartphones. and these big
Average age is
devices.
7.5 years old now.
Or
with
a
smartphone
free
use.
phone.
Oh, mine that are 4 and 5 know how to use them.
I have a 15-month-old great nephew, and he FaceTimes me. Most of the time, I just see the ceiling, but I can hear him babble in the back. But yeah, so I mean, it's an epidemic.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Good
But
way
I
to
would like to get into Osage and do more community work, just
I would
because.
like to see for the whole community.
Yes, and we would
We
like
can
to.
have a Riceville community meeting, St. Andrew, I mean, we can all host those types of things.
Okay.
The hard part is getting people to come
Right.
out of their busy
All right,
schedules.
let's get people out of here. Sorry, Steve, I'm going with 5, and I do want to make sure
You got a motion, you need a second before you make comments.
I just wanna.
I thought you made a motion.
Oh, well, I was saying I would go along with it, but.
I just
can
wanna
make-
make a
Okay,
comment.
all right, I'll back off.
Oh, you're in a hurry. I just wanna stipulate though that I think the schools should be more involved in this than the county should be. Other than that, I mean, this education is in the school, school-based evidence, you know about it, you know more about it, and
Steve,
we're
I'd
all.
argue that we are very much committed to this, just because she gave us great deals this first year, you know, and getting her feet wet, and we wanted to test drive the curriculum and make sure it's something that was meaningful and good for kids. But that's just it, the teachers are raving about it, the kids are wanting about it, so we're committed to it.
Okay.
Well,
Barb's made a motion, Stanley seconded. Roll call, Barb.
Aye.
Stan.
Aye.
Smollett. Nay.
Lowell, I would suggest that we also put this on for next week, just to make sure, because we had technically adjourned the meeting. I wanna make sure that we don't run into any problems. Let's also put this on for next week, just for a moment.
So we need to?
I hate to rush you, Christie.
I don't know, I wasn't in here when you adjourned, we were
has
in
a
recess.
funeral to go to, so.
Nope, that's fine, and I apologize, I was running late.
Let's put it in, I mean, let's put it in there.
We're gonna get